hardware devices. So computer memory. So the first thing is, what's the meaning of computer memory? So where you can see a computer memory is any physical device capable of storing information temporary or permanent. Means in computer, if any device is capable of storing information, maybe that temporary or permanently, that means that is known as computer memory. We have mainly uh, in two category we have available this computer memory. Number one is primary memory and number second is secondary memory. And in primary memory we have two types RAM and ROM. And in RAM we have two types SRAM and DRAM. In ROM we have EROM, EPROM, double EPROM. And in secondary memory we have hard disk, SSD, compact disk, floppy disk, magnetic. They are available. And now see about this primary memory. Okay, so let's see. Primary memory means what? Primary memory, as its name says, primary means the memory which is accessible via processor or your computer, firstly or directly. Right here you can see primary memory is the computer memory that a processor or computer access firstly or directly. That is called primary memory. That means as we discussed, when you give the input to your computer, that time firstly it is accessible by your primary memory. It will goes to your primary memory on your RAM, right? So that's why it is called primary. Means the firstly or directly. Now, types of primary memory we have RAM. RAM means random access memory and ROM means read only memory. Now, perfect. Okay, now see, if you will see RAM, so here you can see what is the meaning of RAM. RAM stands for firstly random access memory. Okay, that is a primary memory. That's two. The thing is that means the use of RAM is to store the data till the power is supplied. Because this RAM is a volatile memory. Volatile means this is a temporary memory. Means once your power will shut down, after that the data will erase. Means it will store the data till the power is supplied only. The next thing is on RAM, the data means which you are using, right? The current time of data will store or will hold on that RAM. We can say like this, we can store there. We can't store there. We can hold the data. And what is the mean of hold? So as we discussed, when you give the input, right, that time we have to need one memory which can hold the data and then pass the data to the next component. We have to need that. So that is the RAM. Means always when you work on any application, when you work on any process, so that time we have to need one memory which can hold that process at the running time. That is the RAM. And this RAM will pass the data to your processor. Processor will process the data and then it will pass that data to your RAM again, and then this RAM will transfer the data to your output device. So here you can see RAM. RAM means suppose if I open this PPT, if I open this PowerPoint slide, what will happen? I will double click on that PowerPoint slide, and in that time it will goes to your RAM. RAM will hold that data and hold that data. After that, it will transfer that data to the next component, that is processor. Then processor will process the data and again that processor will send this data to your next component, that is RAM. Right? So RAM is used to hold your data, we can say. And this is a volatile. So always only it will store your data for temporary purpose. And types of SRAM, we have SRAM and DRAM. Now SRAM means what? Static random access memory. And DRAM means what? Dynamic random access memory. Okay, now see, actually we have to correct something. SRAM means static random access memory. That's okay. DRAM means dynamic random access memory. That's too okay. But SRAM also store the data till the power is supplied. Right? SRAM also stores that data till the power is supplied. Only the difference is that DRAM stores the data for 4 milliseconds only when the power is supplied. Means what? Means it will store the data till the power is supplied. This DRAM. But after 4 milliseconds, it will refresh the data. Right? In every 4 milliseconds, it will refresh the data and it will see what is the next data. And firstly, if I will tell you the example of that. So the example of SRAM is cache memory, as we discussed. Cache memory, the memory of processor. That is the example of SRAM. And in DRAM, that is the main memory. Main memory is which we known as RAM, which we use as RAM, like 2 GB or 4 GB RAM available in my system or in my laptop or in my mobile. So that is the DRAM. So see the difference now. So if you will see, so SRAM means it will store the data till the power is supplied. In cache memory, means in cache memory, your data will store until the power is supplied. When power will goes down, the data will erase and it will not refresh the data in SRAM. Always, when processor will process any data, it will create the cache file there. It will not refresh it. Refresh means it will delete the previous data and it will store the next data, but it will not refresh it. But in DRAM, what will happen? In DRAM, in every 4 milliseconds, it will refresh. So that's why when you give any new input, so it will accept that input and it will show you that input on your output device. Right? So DRAM store the data for 4 milliseconds. After 4 milliseconds, it will refresh your data. And here you can see the reason of that. So if you will see in last uh, topic first, means it uses an array of 6 transistors for each memory set. So there is one concept means for any type of memory that can be your RAM, that can be your cache memory, that can be your hard disk, that can be any types of memory. There we have some memory set, and there we have some memory set, and our data will store in that memory cells. Memory cell means what? Suppose if you have 2 GB of RAM available, so for that 2 GB we have multiple memory cell available, like 100 memory cell or 200 memory cell. That is depend on the size of your RAM or size of your memory. So on this SRAM, on this cache memory, we have one memory cell is made up of the array of 6 transistors. Means to create this memory cell, it uses an array of 6 transistors. Right? For every memory cell, we have 6 transistors. And in DRAM, it uses a pair of transistor and capacitor. Means for every memory cell, we have one transistor and one capacitor. And if you will see here, so does not refresh the memory cell after each reading the transistor. Means when it will read the memory cell or it will read the transistor. Means in memory cell, what we have? In memory cell, we have this transistor. So every time when you will read or write on that memory, when you will do anything there, so that time the transistor will read. So transistor will read means it will not refresh the memory cell. And in DRAM, need to refresh the memory cell after each reading the here it could be also transistor. Right? Here it could also be transistor. So on this DRAM, need to refresh the memory cell after each reading the transistor. So that's why in SRAM data access is faster than this DRAM. Why? Because it will not refresh your memory cell. So that means it will not take any time to refresh. Suppose that time can be in microsecond also, in millisecond also. But it depends. Means when after 4 millisecond means every 4 milliseconds when it will refresh and it will take around in microsecond. So after some time it will be the minute and it will be the hour also. So that means here you can see in SRAM the data access is faster and in DRAM the access is data access is slower than this SRAM. SRAM consume more power because in SRAM, in every memory cell, we have 6 transistors. To run that 6 transistor, we have to need more power. In DRAM, we have only single transistor and one capacitor. So that means to run that, we have to need less power. So this is the mean of SRAM and DRAM. Now just let me know, everyone, is that clear? SRAM and DRAM?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now see again. After that, SRAM and DRAM, here you can see the types of SRAM. We have cache memory, as we discussed. And in DRAM, in main memory, we have 4 types of DRAM available: FPM DRAM, EDO DRAM, SDRAM, and RDRAM. FPM DRAM means fast page mode dynamic random access memory. EDO means extended data out dynamic random access memory. SDRAM means synchronous dynamic random access memory, and RAM bus dynamic random access memory means RDRAM. So if you see here, So nowadays we are using this SDRAM, right? We are using SDRAM, and in SDRAM we have these types like DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, DDR5, and I think some of you heard about that word like DDR. Means we are using that RAM, DDR4 or DDR5, or in some cases DDR3 also. So that is the type of SDRAM. DDR means dual data rate. We will also compare that, but nowadays in market that FPM DRAM, EDO DRAM is not available. That is totally absurd, right? RDRAM is also not used in computer. That is used in video games nowadays. Why? So here you can see this is the RAM tables. Here you can compare them. If you will compare, so first is SDRAM. As SDRAM, we have pins. Pins means what? We are talking about that pins. If you see, this is the RAM. This is physical RAM. In this RAM, you can see these are the pins, and these pins you have to connect on your RAM slot of your motherboard. And in this RAM, we have these pins available in both of the sides. Means in front side also, in back side also. We have these pins, and the count of that pins available here. In SDRAM, we have 168 pins available, and we have this frequency, this is speed available, means 100 megahertz and 133 megahertz. In two variant it was available. Nowadays it is also not in the same market, this SDN. The types of that are available, but this is not available. Why? Because here you can see the frequency, 100 and 133. It is too less. Voltage required is too high, 3.3 volt. And if you see in next, means the next version DDR1. DDR1 means dual data rate. In dual data rate, why it is known as dual data rate? Because they means directly double the frequency of them. Why? Because you will see here 133 to 266 double frequency. So that's why they give that name to this RAM like DDR, dual data RAM. And for that we have three variant available: 266, 333, and 400 meg. And the pins available there 184 and voltage 2.5 volt. Then this was developed DDR2. In DDR2, we have 240 pins and we have 533, 667, and 800 megahertz frequency available, and voltage 1.8 required only. DDR3 240, and the frequency here you can see 1066, 1333, and 1600, 1866. That is the frequency, and the voltage 1.5. In DDR4 288, and frequency available from 2166 to 4233, and in DDR5 the pins is same and frequency available 2400 to 6200 megahertz. So here you can see the difference. Means now the latest RAM provides this frequency 6200 megahertz. So that's why in nowadays in market this SDRAM, DDR1 and DDR2 also available. It is not available in market. DDR3 is available, DDR4 is available, DDR5 is available. DDR2 only you can see in old PCs. If old PC is available in your branch or in anywhere. So in that case you can see that DDR2. But in market, yeah, that is not available. Why FPM DRAM, EDO DRAM and RDRAM not used? So here you can see in FPM DRAM we have only 30 pins. That's okay. But in frequency we have only 22 megahertz. So just compare that. In DDR5 6200 and in FPM DRAM 22 megahertz. So why we will use that FPM DRAM? So that's why they explore. Mini EDO DRAM that is also 33 megahertz. So that is too absolute. And the voltage here you can see that is too much, 5 volt, 3.3 volt. RDRAM 184 and in megahertz that is also provide the means average frequency like 1 gigahertz. So that's why earlier it was used, means until 2000s it was used, but nowadays it is only used in video games. That RDRAM, FPM DRAM and EDO DRAM is totally extra. They are not available in market. So this is the difference between these RAM like DDR1, 2, 3, 4. And this is how you can identify that which RAM we should have to use. Okay, now is that clear now for everyone? Or any doubt, just let me know.
Clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you want, so you can also take the screenshot of any picture if you want. Right. Now after that, the next thing is that is SRAM. We discussed RDRAM, DDR also discussed. Okay. Now the thing is packaging of RAM. Right. So what is the meaning of that packaging? Packaging means what? Packaging decide how to install RAM in your motherboard. Right. It will decide. So how to insert RAM means what? If you will see in desktop, if you ever seen in your desktop, so in desktop on that motherboard, you have to insert that RAM horizontally. No, no, not horizontally, vertically. Right, vertically you have to insert that RAM in desktop. But in laptop, if you will see, in laptop you have to insert that horizontally. Right, so that things is called packaging. Means packaging will decide which type of RAM you can use there and how you have to insert that RAM. It will decide that thing. So if you will see here, we have first packaging SIM. SIM means what? Single inline memory module. Single inline memory module means what? If you will see, and as we discussed also, FPM DRAM has 20, how much pins there? I think 22 now? 30 pins. Okay, 30 and 72. 30 and 72. So if you will see, so in FPM DRAM, we have only 30 pins. 30 pins means what? Only single on single side, on front side that is available. In back side that is not available. 72 also on single side that is available. So that means if that is available on single side, so we have to need that slot on the motherboard which has the single side of pins available. So for that you have to need this packaging. This packaging will decide that okay you can insert that FPM DRAM or EDO DRAM on the motherboard. So earlier it was used this SIM. Nowadays it is not available on any motherboard. Nowadays which is available? So that is DIM. DIM is dual inline memory module. Means on this type of RAM, you will find on both sides the pins, right? In this DIM. So dual inline memory module used in desktop computer. And here you can see SODIMM, small outline dual inline. So that is available on laptop because in laptop we have the RAM on which that pins available on both sides. But the size of that RAM is too small than the size of this RAM of desktop. So that type of packaging is called SODIMM. And on DIMM, you have to insert RAM vertically, and on this SODIMM, you have to insert that RAM horizontally. RAM means for RAM, if you want to insert Rambus type RAM, means RD RAM, if you want to insert there. So for that, we have to use this RAM, right? Because in RAM, there is a difference. Means here you can see RD RAM. In RD RAM, we have two notch available. That is called notch. That's what. That is called notch. In RDRAM, we have two notch available in middle side of the RAM, and in DDR series, we have only single notch available, right? So that's why for RDRAM, we have to use this type of packaging, like a rim packaging. So in that rim packaging, you will find that two notch, and in this DIM, you will find only single notch, and in this sodium also, you will find single notch. So that is called packaging. Fact, in ROM, what we can store. So here you can see ROM means read-only memory. Okay, it is a non-volatile. Means the data will be stored for permanent purpose. Means for permanent, which means this memory stores the data permanently. It is used mainly to start or boot up. As we discussed, one thing means we have the BIOS. We discussed about that BIOS, basic input output system. So that is the program. Means firstly when you turn on your system, so that time firstly this BIOS will start, and this BIOS will perform few things like post, as we discussed, power on self test. So firstly it will check all of your hardware, is every hardware is available or not, or is there any problem. So it will give you the error, otherwise it will uh, change the process. It will go to the next step, that is boot step loader. Boot step loader means by bootstrap loader, it will try to find the operating system in your memory, in your hard disk, right? So that means on this ROM, we can't store any other type of data. And one more thing, this BIOS is a firmware, that word, firmware. And firmware means what? Software for a hardware. Software for a hardware means what? Only that software you can store on specific hardware. Specific hardware means what? On this ROM, on this read-only memory, you can store only this BIOS. You can't store any other type of data. You can't store any like a movie file, music file, or any text file. You can't store anything. Only you can store this BIOS there. So that's why it is called firmware. And in our computer machine, we have only single firmware, that is BIOS, that is ROM, right? Only that single available. Otherwise, on hard disk, you can store any type of data. On RAM, you can run any type of data. Or if you have any other type of storage device, so you can store any other type of data. But on this ROM, you can only store that BIOS there, right? Only you can store that. And one more thing, who joined? Uh, do the Matla Swati. So you just join this meeting. Why? Yes, why were you late? Am I audible to you, Swati?
Yes, sir. Link was not available again. Another ma'am sent me the link.
Okay. Okay, I will mark the attendance for you, but for today attendance, I just send the attendance because uh, means till 11 a.m. I have to send the attendance.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but I will mark for future use.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so as we discussed about the ROM, so on this ROM, only you can store this BIOS. Right, so that is the use of ROM, and that is permanent. Means after restarting, after means power cut down, after restart, your data will be there. Data will not erase it, right? And that is read only. Read only means directly you can't change anything there. For that, we have to use few things. Like we will also discuss about that types ROM, and here you can see the type PROM. We have three types of ROM available. Number one is PROM. If your system has PROM, PROM means programmable read-only memory. So it is a PROM chip to write data once and read many. Means on this type of ROM, only one-time data can be write there by the manufacturer. That right there, only you can read. When you will restart your system, that time your data will be read. Your BIOS will read. The recorded information cannot be changed, and you cannot change the recorded information. The BIOS you can't change. If your BIOS will corrupt by any chance, so that time your motherboard will not work, and you can't change that. You have to change the motherboard. That is PROM. But after that, that EPROM comes. In EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory. That means it is erasable. So information stored in EPROM exposing the chip for some time ultraviolet light. Means by using this ultraviolet light, you can change the BIOS on this type of ROM, EPROM. But for that, we have to need some machine for that ultraviolet light because in our computer system, that ultraviolet light is not available. So that means we have to need some machine, and that machines is only available uh, on the manufacturer. Manufacturer has only that type of machine. That means if you have this type of motherboard which has this EPROM available, and by any chance this EPROM will corrupt, so in that case you have to send that to your manufacturer, to your service center. Only they can change that, and only that is possible for 3 to 4 times to change that. Then double EPROM. electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. The double EPROM is programmed and erased by special electrical wave. Our computer is also an electrical electronic machine. So that means we can change this type of BIOS. We can change this type of data, right, on this double EPROM. So nowadays, in every laptop, in every system, this double EPROM is used. And on this double EPROM, we can change the BIOS. If your BIOS will corrupt any chance, so in that case, only you have to download the BIOS driver from the internet and you have to install that so that you can change that, you can upgrade that, or you can update that. And according to research, about 10,000 times you can change that. Right? So that is the mean of double EPROM. Now let me know, is that clear? ROM, what is the mean of ROM and types of ROM?